Have you ever wondered how you can create a sustainable and self-sufficient ecosystem in your backyard? Today we take a deep dive into the world of permaculture, a word that's a blend of permanent and culture. It's a design system that helps create productive and sustainable living spaces. Permaculture is about more than just planning your garden. It's about creating a harmonious integration of landscape and people, providing their food, energy, shelter and other needs in a sustainable way. The beauty of permaculture lies in its flexibility. It can be applied to any property, regardless of size, from sprawling estates to city apartments. Permaculture offers a multitude of benefits. It helps to conserve water, enrich soil and create a resilient ecosystem that can withstand climate changes. But perhaps the biggest benefit is how it encourages us to live in harmony with nature rather than working against it. Permaculture is more than just a method of gardening, it's a way of life. Creating a permaculture garden is a journey that begins with careful planning. It's like charting an expedition into the wild, where the terrain is your backyard and the compass is your understanding of the land. The first step in this journey is observation. Spend some time with your land, get to know its nooks and crannies, its highs and lows. Observe how the sun bathes it in light at different times of the day and how water flows through it when it rains. These patterns of sun and water, these rhythms of nature, will guide you in creating a garden that's in harmony with its surroundings. Next, you'll want to gather your resources. This means understanding the quality of your soil. Is it sandy or clayey? Rich and dark or light and lean? Each type of soil has its own personality, its own strengths and weaknesses. By understanding your soil, you can choose plants that will thrive in it and enrich it where it's lacking. Now, with your observations and resources in hand, it's time to design your garden. This is where the fun really begins. Imagine your garden as a living, breathing ecosystem, where every plant, every insect, every handful of soil plays a crucial role. Design it to make the most of the sun's rays, to conserve water, to enrich the soil, and to create a beautiful, productive space. Consider where you'll plant your fruit trees for maximum sun exposure. Think about where to put your vegetable beds so they'll get just the right amount of light. Plan where to dig your swales for efficient water management. And remember, diversity is key. A variety of plants not only makes your garden more resilient, but also more beautiful and productive. And finally, as you embark on this journey, remember that creating a permaculture garden is a continuous process of learning and adapting. Nature is dynamic, always changing, always surprising us. So keep observing, keep experimenting, keep growing. Remember, a well-planned garden is a successful garden. You may wonder, how much space do I need to start a permaculture garden? The beauty of permaculture lies in its flexibility. It can be adapted to fit various scales, from the tiniest urban balcony to the broadest rural landscape. It's all about working with what you have, rather than striving for what you don't. So let's delve into the land requirements for a permaculture garden. First, let's consider small spaces. Urban dwellers, don't feel left out. You can implement permaculture principles on your balcony, rooftop, or tiny backyard. These spaces may be compact, but they can be incredibly productive. The key is to think vertically. Use trellises, wall planters, and hanging baskets to maximize your growing area. But remember, small spaces can dry out quickly, so be mindful of your watering practices. Next, let's move on to medium-sized spaces. If you have a suburban yard, you've hit a sweet spot. You have enough room to experiment with diverse plantings, but it's not so large that it becomes unmanageable. Here, you can play with different layers of growth like canopy trees, shrubs and ground cover plants. Keep in mind though, it's crucial to manage your expectations. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is a permaculture garden. Finally, for those lucky enough to possess large rural properties, the world is your oyster. With ample space, you can incorporate elements like ponds, orchards, and even livestock. You can create intricate food forests and experiment with larger-scale permaculture systems. However, remember that larger spaces require more maintenance. You'll need to consider pest management and weed control on a broader scale. So whether your space is small, medium, or large, there's a permaculture solution for you. It's not about the quantity of land you have, but rather how you use it. By understanding the characteristics of your space and applying permaculture principles, you can create a thriving ecosystem right at your doorstep. No matter the size of your space, permaculture can help you make the most of it. In permaculture, diversity is not just the spice of life, it's a crucial component of a healthy ecosystem. Permaculture thrives on the principle of biodiversity, a concept that underscores the variety of life in a particular habitat or ecosystem. It's the assortment of different plants, animals, fungi, and even microorganisms that make up our natural world. In the realm of permaculture, this variety is not just appreciated but actively harnessed to create a more resilient and productive system. Biodiversity, in essence, is the backbone of resilience. Think of it as an insurance policy against the unpredictable whims of nature. A diverse garden is more likely to withstand pests, diseases, and extreme weather conditions than a monoculture. If one plant species fails, others will step up, ensuring the system keeps functioning. It's the permaculture way of putting all eggs, not just in one basket, but in many. Productivity too is heightened by diversity. Different plants have different strengths, and by including a wide variety, we can ensure that we get the most out of our permaculture garden. Some plants may be nitrogen fixers, improving soil fertility, while others might be excellent pollinators, helping our fruits and vegetables to flourish. So how do we promote biodiversity in a permaculture setting? There are a few key strategies. Firstly, plant selection is critical. Choose a wide array of plant species, focusing not just on their individual benefits, but also on how they interact with each other and their environment. Secondly, creating habitats for beneficial wildlife is essential. This could involve anything from installing a pond to attract frogs and insects, to creating a bird-friendly garden with nesting boxes and native plants. By promoting biodiversity, we're fostering a symbiotic relationship with nature, where every organism, no matter how small, plays a significant role. We're not just working with nature, we're becoming a part of it. And in doing so, we're ensuring the resilience and productivity of our garden. By promoting biodiversity, you're not just creating a garden, you're building a thriving ecosystem. So, we've covered a lot today, but let's take a moment to review the key points. Firstly, we explored the fascinating world of permaculture. Remember, permaculture is an innovative approach to land use, combining elements of natural landscaping and edible gardening. The objective is to create a sustainable and self-sufficient system that requires minimal maintenance and still provides an abundance of produce. We then delved into the nitty-gritty of creating your own permaculture garden. The steps we discussed are not set in stone, but they provide a solid foundation. We start by observing and understanding the land, followed by designing the garden layout. Then comes the fun part, planting, and finally we maintain and adjust the garden as necessary, learning from our experiences and the ever-changing nature of the garden itself. Talking about land requirements, we discovered that you don't need acres of land to create a permaculture garden. A small suburban backyard or even a rooftop can be transformed into a thriving ecosystem. What matters most is not the size, but how you utilize the space. Every inch of your land can contribute to the overall productivity and sustainability of your garden. And of course, we cannot forget the crucial role of biodiversity in permaculture. Biodiversity, the variety of life in a particular habitat or ecosystem, is the lifeblood of a permaculture garden. The more diverse your garden, the more resilient and productive it will be. By creating a diverse ecosystem, you are not only growing food, but also providing habitat for beneficial insects, birds, and other wildlife. Biodiversity also helps to control pests naturally, reducing the need for harmful pesticides. In conclusion, permaculture is a holistic approach to gardening that goes beyond just growing plants. It's about creating a balanced and sustainable ecosystem that benefits not only us, but also the environment around us. It's about working with nature, not against it, and learning from the wisdom of natural ecosystems. Whether you're a seasoned gardener looking for a new challenge, or a beginner wanting to dip your toes into the world of sustainable living, permaculture offers a rewarding and enriching experience. It might seem daunting at first, but remember, it's a journey, not a destination. It's about learning, experimenting, and most importantly, having fun along the way. Remember, permaculture is not just about growing plants, it's about creating a sustainable and balanced ecosystem where everything works together. So why not give it a try? Your backyard is waiting.